The best part of the show, I think, in my opinion, conference championship weekend. Well, I was on the cruise and I was able to catch most of it as much as I could. But man, oh man, I was licking my chops with this college football weekend of conference championship. Well, we knew that BYU was going to get absolutely mollywhopped by Texas Tech, and Texas Tech looks legit. They do. Now, they really haven't faced anybody big yet. We'll see. Maybe the Red Raiders fans on social media will be upset at me, but nothing like Ohio State. Then you had Georgia and Alabama 28-7. And everyone's like, well, Alabama shouldn't be in the playoff. They got mollywopped by Georgia. They have 3 losses now, but the committee basically were saying beforehand, we're not going to punish Alabama in conference play, in conference championship, losing to Georgia. Yes, Georgia made an absolute statement against them. They did. Georgia looked like the best team in the country this past weekend against Alabama. But it's the SEC. And that's really all I have to say on that. And then you had Duke beating Virginia 27-20 in overtime. But the highlight of this part here is Indiana beating Ohio State 13-10. And I said beforehand, I said Indiana is going to beat Ohio State. I'm so sick and tired of Ohio State fans sitting on social media and telling me we can't be beat, we're untouchable, nobody can beat us. Backtrack a second. Come back to earth, right? You have a $50 million roster and you can't beat Indiana. You put up 10 points. Well, we missed a field goal. The field goal didn't determine that. You would have tied the game, okay, but you had plenty of other opportunities to score when needed the most. Indiana doesn't have the roster that Ohio State has. And all the Ohio State fans sitting on social media telling me, we had our worst game of the season. No, you ran into a really good team. Accept it. You guys can be beat. I've said this week in and week out. Ohio State hasn't played anybody. They were finally officially tested. And all the people are going to say, Joe, you're such an Ohio State hater. No, that roster is exceptional. But Ryan Day is overrated as a coach. As I've been saying since the beginning of this season, they haven't played anybody. I can't wait for Ohio State to play Georgia because they probably will. They're going to beat, I would imagine they beat Texas A&M or Miami. I would think, unless they screw it up at home, which would be hilarious. Would be the icing on the cake on the season for me. However, though, Indiana outplayed Ohio State. It had nothing to do with that field goal. And you know what? Beginning of the game with Curry when he knocked into Mendoza and he looked like he tried to take him out of the game, but Mendoza said, nah, listen, you guys have the best roster in the country, and that's all you put up against Indiana. And the fans will sit here and tell me we had our worst game of the season. No, as I just said, you ran into a really good team. Give Kurt Signetti and Mendoza their flowers. Give me my respect on social media for telling you guys that you guys can't be beat, because all you guys are quiet in the comment section now and quiet on social media, sitting here telling me Ohio State can't be beat. They're untouchable. Nobody can guard Jeremiah Smith. We're going to win this game 44-10. We're going to blow them out. Ohio State fans are the cockiest fans in college football history, I feel like, because I remember a long, long time ago when Ohio State lost to Florida in the BCS when everyone's like, I wasn't even born yet. You still lost. Why are you guys so quiet now on social media? Where have you guys been all week? We had our worst game of the season. We're still going to win the Natty. No, you're not. You're not beating Georgia. You're not beating Indiana again. And we had our worst game of the season. You ran into a really good team. Face it, Mendoza's a pro, and he just played against a pro-style defense. What happened, Matt Patricia? You lost. What happened, Ryan Day? You got out-coached. That's what happened. Mendoza and that roster over in Indiana, it's like David versus Goliath. That's like the vibe that I was getting. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Indiana battled that entire game. They deserved to win that football game. Take away both teams, they both missed field goals. Indiana still outplayed them, and they won the game when it mattered most. If you're only letting up 10 points to that Ohio State defense, you're an elite team. Face it, Ohio State, you have competition in the playoff this year. You're not going to just run through like you did last year, like for this year. It's not going to happen.